Hello to all of my loved ones, and welcome to the Sip and Chat. I'm Marlene of Love Marlene 411, where we talk about all things love. The love for ourselves, how we can gain it, how we can protect it, and the things on the in between that cause us sometimes to lose love for ourselves because of other people or just not standing up for ourselves in the right way. So, welcome to today's Sip and Chat. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I am waiting for my co host, Miss Nexie. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody had a good month so far and you're in a good space mentally. Because I always like to talk about very important topics over here because our mental health and our how we're coping with our life. It matters. It's valid. It's important. And I wanted to say that, sometimes we pretend that we're okay when we're not. We know we haven't been okay for some time. But before we get into this subject and waiting on my co host, Miss Nexie, I wanted to say, this title may not be for everybody. It could be a little triggering for some, but I think it's important to talk about topics like this depression and mental health issues. I think is so vital. Hey, realist, how are you doing? Welcome in. I think it's vital for us to talk about mental health and to also talk about depression because many people face it. Many people face depression, and especially I wanted to do this because I know many people they go through the seasonal depression, and that happens when the weather changes, and some people just get the depression like I honestly get. I get depression every time it goes into the holiday season, because remembering it's another year without certain people in my life, so that gets me down. Yep, we all can relate to. Everybody gets depression. Everybody gets has some mental health issues. Everybody. But why I wanted to have this topic is because I feel that it's so important that we not pretend that we're fine when we're not. It's okay to say we're not okay. It's okay to take a break from other people in your job so that you can focus on yourself. It's okay to focus on yourself, and that does not make you a selfish person. It means you know yourself and you love yourself. It means you know your limits. You know what is possible for you. And we can't function and operate when we're not okay. We have to ask ourselves, why am I feeling this way? Is it because I'm doing too much? Or do I have an imbalance to where I need some medication? Maybe I need to go and see somebody and talk to them about it, because the reason why I wanted to talk about the subject of depression is because for many years I suffered with depression, many, many years. And I just thought that I was sad for a long time. I'm just going through something right now. But when you can't cope with your life, if you're not functioning, it's more than just sadness. If you can't shake the sadness, it's more than sadness, it's depression. And it's time we start giving things its names. If that's what it is, if it's depression, then it's depression. If it's some mental health disruption, we need to call it that, and to not make excuses or pretend or try to hide when we're not okay, we're not okay. And that's just that. When we're not okay, we're not okay. And we have to have some fight within us to fight for ourselves and fight for our life. And I want to say this to somebody. I know that there has to be somebody, maybe in the background, or somebody who will watch on the replay. You feel that other nobody cares about you. And it can be that way sometimes. You can feel used and abused. You can feel unseen in this world. You feel that nobody cares about you, but you have to care about yourself. You have to care about yourself. You have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know that you're not okay at this time, and then seek some help. One of the best things that I ever did in my life was go to therapy. And if it wasn't for therapy, I would I would really be messed up. If it wasn't for therapy telling me that, you know, you shouldn't cry every day, or you shouldn't feel less than, putting yourself down. And I know that it's different forms of depression. It's different forms of all different kinds of mental health issues. And no two people are the same. What works for one person doesn't work for another. I'm just sharing some things that has helped me. And one of the things that has helped me was talking to a therapist. That helped me so much. It helped me to feel like uh, I don't have to carry this burden. I don't have to be perfect. It's okay for me to talk about what I'm going through, talk about what I'm dealing with. It's okay to do that. And it is. It's okay to say how you feel. And a lot of times we do not allow ourselves to go into that space. We don't allow ourselves to say how we feel and what we're going through, because maybe your relatives or other people, because they don't want to talk about it, because how they cope with it. Oh yeah, I go through things and blah blah blah, and I'm fine. Just because another person copes a certain way, it doesn't mean that you cope that way. You have to find what works for you. Oh, I'm glad, realist. It was therapeutic. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's one of the reasons why we have these important conversations. It's very important to talk about our mental health. It's very important to talk about depression. Very important because uh I don't mean to make it go down a dark path, but it's what it is. When we ignore how we feel, especially when we feel depressed, and we feel that others don't care about us, we'll want to do some things to harm ourselves. We'll start thinking of some self-harming habits. We'll want to, follow through because we feel that nobody cares, but we have to care about ourselves. So to anybody, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling discouraged, and especially going through the colder weather temperatures, it's about to start or has maybe already started in your area. And many people are get the seasonal depression. Many people get, the just depression period going into the holiday period of time because just thinking another year without certain individuals And we have to find a way to cope with that. I know for a really long time I didn't want to admit how I was feeling because I felt like I had to be perfect, you know. I don't know if anybody is like me. You don't want to tell other people because in many communities, not just with minorities, but many communities, mental health is not supported. You're supposed to be like you're a robot and you're supposed to just keep going. And I don't know what that's about, but ladies and gentlemen, you're not robots. You have feelings and they do matter. And if you're feeling some type of way, you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling like not right mentally with your mental health, please talk to somebody about it because that really it does make a big difference. And I don't mean just talk to anybody. I mean talk to somebody professionally, whether it be a counselor, a life coach, a therapist. And I'll tell you something that really made a major difference to me. Hi, Sirius. How are you doing? Welcome. Something that made a major difference in my life was when I had enough courage to speak up for myself. You know, I just put it out there. I'm Marlene and I suffer with seasonal depression. And a lot of people don't want to say that because it's something like you're looked at as weak or weird, you're strange. But the people who ignore how they feel, they go through it too. Everybody goes through depression. Everybody goes through self doubt and lots of things. But we want to talk about how we can feel better, how we can be better. And we can't be that if we don't at least admit it. First, we have to start off by admitting what we feel. And it's the truth that sometimes you have to say, I'm not feeling okay mentally. I'm going through a lot. I'm very sad. I'm depressed. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you're a real person, that you have been through things in your life. Um, Sometimes we're expected to just bounce back like a ball and to not suffer any after effects. And that's just not realistic. We're human beings, we're not robots. We go through things and the after effects of the trauma, the after effects of whatever it was, it stays with us. And you're going to relive it over and over again like a scratch record until you come to the space of healing. Yeah, holding in any negative emotions never ends up good for anybody. It truly doesn't. Yes, it can feel like torture and it's even more painful and disheartening when you have people in your life and they're not supportive of how you feel and what you're going through. Sometimes our relatives or other people in our lives expect for us to just bounce back like they bounce back. No two people are the same. Yes, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm trying to push through. I've been resting today. Thank you, Sirius. But that's the important thing, you know? That's one of the most important things in this life is to um Allow yourself to feel how you feel. And I wanted to say that to every single one of you. Feel how you feel. If you feel down or discouraged, let yourself feel that. You don't have to be the tough one. You don't have to be the strong one. You don't have to, it's okay to let your guard down. It's okay to shed some tears. It's okay to admit that you need some help. It's okay to admit that you need some support. Thank you, Sirius. It's okay to admit that we need support. It's okay to admit that. And I want to say that to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, many times we expect men to not voice how they feel, or it's looked at as weakness to express that you're going through something. But for me, it shows your strength. It really does. It shows how strong you are when you're willing to admit that you need some support, you need some help, you need something in order for you to get back on level playing ground. And don't give up, you know, and don't look for support from your your people in your life who just don't understand. Sometimes if it's a person who has never been gone through depression, or they've always hid how they feel, they don't talk about how they feel, they don't understand why you want to talk about it. So don't try to, force other people to change, because you can't force them anyways, because people are going to do what they want to do. That's one thing about people. They are definitely going to do what they want to do. And you have to do what you want to do. You have to do what's best for you. Truly and honestly, ladies and gentlemen, you have to do what's best for you. You have to know yourself. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is because I know that there's a lot of people who are become successful in unaliving themselves. And I never want it to get to that point that you feel that you have no hope, or there's no point in your life, or you have no value, or you should just give up. Never give up on yourself. If you don't feel well mentally, if you need some support, you know, there's nothing wrong if sometimes you need to take some medicine in order for you to feel okay mentally. It's nothing wrong with joining a support group, but you have to do what you have to do in order for you to maintain and be your best. And we have to know what that is. We have to know what's right for us. You have to know what works for you. And that's it. So to all of my loved ones, I hope that you are in a position today that when you are not feeling your best, that you let yourself feel that way, that you don't dismiss it, or you don't say it will get better. See, many of us, we ignore how we feel. I know I do, because I don't want to face what's behind it, what's underneath it, what is the cause of it. Maybe overexerting yourself, maybe you're allowing yourself to be stressed out, maybe you're doing too much, whatever it is. Yeah, if we don't, nobody else will do that for us, right? We have to understand how important we are, even if other people don't feel like it's important to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it, but you should talk about how you feel so that you can be okay. And I'm stating that from experience. For many years, you guys know that I come from a Caribbean background, and most Caribbean people don't like talking about feelings and emotions and what they're going through. And that's them. I had to learn that. That's them, and if they don't want to talk about it, that's what they want to do. You can't make somebody do what they want. Do something if they don't want to do it. But we also have to know when it's time for us to speak up for ourselves. We have to know that. We have to know what's right, and we have to find out what's not working. Sometimes what we're dealing with, it's not working, and it hasn't been working for some time. But will you have the enough courage to speak up and talk about how you feel? Sirius says, I was the one that stood strong. I thought if anyone seen my vulnerability, they wouldn't respect me. I never allowed myself to get vulnerable. Wow, Sirius. I think I had a touch of that as well. Coming from a big family, and just it's just things that they don't want to talk about. They don't like talking about it. They don't think it's important. So you hold that inside. You don't talk about how you feel. You don't talk about what you're going through. It's always been taught my whole life. Be disciplined, be strong. Don't tell anybody your business. Don't tell anybody what you're going through. And that is not good for us. Not that you tell strangers what you're going through, but you tell the right people, you know, talking to a therapist or a life coach or a psychiatrist. But it's important to talk to someone who is going to support our mental health and our overall well being so that we can be our best. Yes, absolutely. We have to know what is going to support us mentally, what will be good for us and what won't be good for us. That's so highly important. It's so important for us to know about how we feel, what we're going through. And I know that many people have depression for many, many reasons. Sometimes it's a mental imbalance. Sometimes it's because of the season, it being dark and cold and not getting the sun. Sometimes it's lots of unresolved issues that come from the holiday season. It's a lot of things that can happen and a lot of reasons why we feel how we feel. But, the first step is admitting that I need some help. It doesn't mean you're a weak person. It doesn't mean you're not a strong person. Strong people admit how they feel. Strong people do whatever it takes so that they can be their best. And let me tell you, you are not your best when you're feeling very discouraged. You're not your best when you're sad, when you have the feelings of worthlessness. You're not your best. And I never want anybody to feel that way, but it's a part of life. You there's ebbs and flows in this life. A lot of things that happen to us very demented, very dark. And most people don't like to talk about it, but there's real traumas in this life. Many of us have experienced some real life traumas, and ignoring them is not the solution. And I'll tell you that from experience. I had ignored years and years of childhood trauma, childhood abuse, so much things in my childhood because among my relatives we just didn't talk about certain things, and everything that I had endured, it was not good things, you know. Not saying everything in my childhood was bad. I'm not going to say that, but I am going to say that a lot of times we go through things and we hide it. You know, we keep it as a secret, and that's not something to keep as a secret. You know, sexual abuse, domestic violence, uh, so many things, so many things that we see. People who have drug and alcohol problems, and my heart goes out to everybody who has to face that, has to suffer with those certain traumas, those certain issues within your relatives, within your upbringing. We really do. I've mustered up enough courage to trust another that has been an instrumental part of my life. I never thought I. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Sarah says I don't overshare information about certain things. I can understand that, especially when you get hurt, you know, especially when someone took advantage of your trust. It's hard for us to want to trust somebody again. It's hard to trust somebody after your trust has been taken advantage of. So I understand that, serious. But I'm glad that you found somebody that you can trust. Yeah. That's what we have to do, honestly. We have to try to put it in the back of our mind, if not try to put it out of our mind. There's certain things that we worry about that doesn't matter. I know for a really long time I was so involved with certain individuals and how they were, how they felt about me, and why they didn't like me and why they were jealous of me and why this and why that. You drive yourself crazy. You stress yourself out. You can't make people love you. You can't make people trust you. You can't make people do right by you. They have to want to do that. I had to stop punishing myself, you know? Stop punishing yourself, everybody. If somebody wants to love you, they will. If somebody wants to do the right thing, they will. I hear people say all the time, they make an excuse and say, I wish I could do right, or I wish I could do better. That's just an excuse. They don't want to do better. They're comfortable in doing whatever it is that they're doing. Okay. If you really want to do something, you will. And that's it. If you really want to do something, you will. And most people do not want to do better. They don't want to do better. They're comfortable in their laziness. They're comfortable in, manipulating. They're comfortable in making excuses. They're comfortable in all of that. So that's when you have to choose yourself. You got to choose to love yourself. Yes, I know a lot of people suppress and repress their feelings. It's easy to do that, but I've learned to allow myself to talk about things that bother me. Yes. We have to talk about how we feel. We have to talk about how we feel. And when we don't feel, we're not feeling good. We're not feeling in the right frame of mind. And especially when you're feeling in a dark space, you're feeling depressed, you're having feelings of worthlessness, you're going through some stuff. It's so important for us to talk about that. Talk about how you feel. I vital. I thought I saw Miss Nexie back here. Try again, Miss Nexie. Don't let anybody stop you from how you feel. Don't let anybody tell you how you feel. Everybody doesn't cope with things the same way. Everybody copes with things differently. Every single person copes with things differently. And I wanted to say whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you're a mother, a father, a brother, cousin, whatever, you can't log in. Let me drop the link again. We're all valid, you know. I'm tired of hearing people talk about it's this group or this group or this person. No, everybody's feelings are valid. Every single person. Your feelings are valid. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Nexie. Thank you for this super sticker. You know what we have to do? Time to bring out Panda. Thank you so much, Miss Nexie. I put the link in there again, Miss Nexie, if you want to try it. Um, yeah, it's so good to have a support system. We have to have a good support system. We have to, we must. We must have a support system, you know? And support system doesn't mean you're a relative. It would be nice if it would be, but sometimes we have people who are our relatives and they don't want to admit what they're going through. Yeah. Hold the torch when times get rough. Exactly, serious. Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Nexie. Ooh, it won't let you in. I don't know. I'm going to hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna text you the link. I think it's back. Yeah, that's just it. Everyone doesn't have that support system. They don't. Everyone doesn't have a support system. And that's why I said, however, you find that support system, don't think that it has to, I had to be open enough and transparent enough to say, my support system isn't just going to be my relative. I had to look for some people who, you know, join a support group for people with depression. And they have them online. They're free. So anybody who feels that they don't have a support system among their relative, among your, who you live with, I think this is Miss Nexie. Hello, Miss
Hello,
Nexie.
Miss Marlene. How are you?
Yay. I'm glad
Sorry
you're
I'm
here.
late. I'm sorry I'm
Oh,
late. Having a
that's okay.
major meltdown on
Uh
Mr.
oh.
You know
Yeah.
who.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem. We were just having a good conversation here about depression and mental health.
Whew, important topic.
Yeah.
Very important. Something that we always, and I'm speaking for myself, I often neglect because you get busy and you forget to make sure that that you're doing okay, that you're resting enough, that you're not feeling down, that you're not overworked or overlooked by family members as well. And I oftentimes I just let it go and don't pay attention to, but then it hits me sometimes, and I cry for hours, and I'm wondering why I'm crying for hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I realized, hey, wait a minute, I've been bottling all this for so long and putting it off. I deal with it later, and later never comes. And when it does come, it's waterworks.
Yeah. When it does come, it's a complete meltdown.
Hmm.
And I've learned when I feel a certain way, because I'm the type of person that I don't care. I'll cry anywhere, Miss Nexty. I don't care. If I need to have a meltdown, I was like, uh oh, because I could feel my eyes start welling up with tears. I was like, uh oh, here it comes.
Don't I know that?
Um,
Don't I know that?
yeah, I wish I could change it. I wish my family's been trying to change that about me for years, but I can't help it. That's who I am. When I need to have a good cry, I have to have it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Huh?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, but according to what you were saying, Miss Nexie, we hold in our pain, you know. We hold
Hmm.
in because we're not ready to deal with it. We don't want to talk about it. And I get it. I understand. But we need to make some time for our mental health.
And Marlene, I want to butt into what you just said. Actually, I learned through therapy that we hold it, not everybody, but some of us, me, we hold it sometimes because that's what we've been told growing up. Don't cry, stop it. I'll give you something to cry about. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to feel depressed. You're not, you know what I mean? Like they keep on
Yeah, that.
making you, they stopping you from crying and expressing your emotions and expressing your pain or your sadness or whatever it is. They suppress it to the point that you learn to put it aside. You learn to not pay attention to the pain or the sadness again, or the anger or whatever it is that you're dealing with, because you have that embedded in you. Don't cry. I'll give you a reason to cry if you're going to cry about that little doll that somebody else broke, or the book that you lost, or that pet that ran away. You know what I mean? Like, they make you hold in your feelings for so long, and in childhood is when you're learning how to cope with all these different feelings, or all these different emotions, and balancing them out. And when people are constantly stopping you from that, when you get older, waterworks come out of nowhere sometimes. A little
Hmm.
something will remind you of something that happened to you when you were a child, and your subconscious just brings it up and you start crying. It happens to me all the time. And the
Hmm.
one thing is, when people start crying, I'm like, up, gotta go. Nope. I
Yep,
can't do this. I can't do
I
this.
know. My whole family says that to me. That's why I'll cry and I'll turn my head. But I had to stop doing that because I said I'm not embarrassed because I need to cry.
No, you
But they
shouldn't be.
make you. But sometimes your relatives will make you feel bad for how you feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like it because then I'll start crying.
Oh, I see. Mm.
I'm over there with you, and then I won't be able to stop.
Uh, but what Siri says, she says sometimes a good scream helps you relieve a lot of tension. And
Oh,
I'm a person. I'm not a screamer, but I like to throw things.
oh yes.
Yes, that makes me feel so good. If you guys haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Like, really mess up your room. Just start throwing stuff. That
Oh,
makes me feel so good. A good
oh,
throw session.
Yeah, no, I have a place that I go to. There's this place here, close to where I live, and it's called Smash It or Smash Up, something like that. And you
Mm.
go there and you ask for. They ask you, what do you want? Do you want plates? Do you want cups? Do you want glasses? Do you want a microwave that you can destroy? Do you want a TV that you can just break into pieces? And you go there and they give you a room, safety glasses, whatever tools you want to go to town on that poor appliance. But you release so much of that tension that is
Ooh.
worth it. It's worth
Ooh, a
it.
break room. I'm gonna have to research that.
There, yeah, I think they have them in Florida too. I don't
Ooh,
remember
a
what it's
break
called here.
room. Sarah's just laughing at me. My family thought that I was nuts, but I'm telling you that it's better if you throw, a few shirts or something than to smash somebody in their face.
I'll take the second. I'd rather do that one. I'll go with the second one, please. It's more enjoyable. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
I
kidding. I'm
I
just.
feel like that. I'm being honest, Miss Nexie. I have the I get the angry depression.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready to beat up people. Like,
Oh,
why didn't you protect me? Why didn't you do this? Why
bam,
didn't
bam,
you
bam,
do
bam,
that?
bam.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep. We, for me, it's why I control myself, because I have never. I not actually. I think I've been to that point of no return once in my life, and I got scared from so much anger that came out of me and what I was willing to do from that anger. So, I try to control myself. I don't get myself in situations where I will have to go there, but sometimes you just need to smash things, like you say. Just go to town on something. I take the rugs out and I beat the rug.
Oh man. Miss Nexie, that triggered me back to my childhood. That's what my mom used to do. She used to take all the rugs in
Uh-huh.
the backyard and she would hang them on pin it with a um clothespin and
Uh-huh.
just start smacking the rugs. And I'd be like, what is going on with mom? But me and we would all be looking. We'd all be looking. I was like, what did you do to mom? It's like, I didn't do anything.
It was always you. They will always ask you, "What did you do to her,
They
Marlene?"
always blamed me.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, it was usually 90% of the time it was me. But what about that 10% when it wasn't me?
It was normally 98, my fault.
No,
But then that
90.
2%, no, mine, it was 98% my fault. But what about that 2% that my other siblings,
Mm.
maybe that's the one that broke the camel's back. The 2%, not the 98. He was used
Yep,
to that.
it's true. But you have to do whatever it takes in order for you to get back feeling relieved and feeling good again because like Sarah said, it could be a good screen. For me it's throwing things. For Miss Nexie it's going to a breaking room. But you got to
Yeah.
find some way to release that tension. I know my nephew likes to go to the gun range.
I have gone to the beach and I have found like far away from people, secluded, and I start screaming the living out of me. And that helps me too. That
Oh yeah.
helps me. So yeah, serious. It's actually it releases a lot of tension when you do that.
But Miss Nexie, the next time when you have that meltdown and you're screaming, can you make a video of that and send it to me?
Of Mr. Screaming? Is that what you want? Oh no. Miss Marlene, somebody found out that I went on the train
Oh
by
no.
myself. That is the whole meltdown.
Uh-oh. I
Yes.
knew it was something. I knew it was something.
Yes. Oh my god. And you didn't take me on train, and you didn't take me, and so and so had to go with you, and you didn't take me. So that's what I've been going through, trying to explain that I had to go to a doctor's appointment, Miss Marley, on the train. Oh, you're sick.
Yep.
Oh no. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, Miss Marlene, and I left you here talking all by yourself.
I'll be all right. It's not the only cold I'm gonna have my whole life.
Oh man. I'm telling you, it's going around, Miss Marlene. It's going around.
Yeah, yeah, it's going around, but this one was my fault
How is that your fault?
because I went to a conference and I was not dressed appropriately. I didn't wear a sweater and it was very cold there.
Oh. And you didn't. Okay, was it nighttime or daytime?
No, it was nighttime.
Oh no, you
Yep.
bad girl.
Ah, yeah. I'm naughty, Marlene.
You're not. Oh no, I cannot say that word right now. Because somebody thinks I'm talking about him the whole time. Oh my god. My sister, Marlene, one of my sisters, um, when she gets really upset, or she gets depressed, or sad or whatever, she likes to color or doodle. She likes to do that, and I don't know why. Like, I've always asked her, like, why do you like to do that? She grabs her book, or a coloring book, and she just goes into her room and she starts coloring,
Mm.
and that helps her, she says.
Yeah, when I feel when you hear the music turn up really loud and I start screaming at the top of my lungs, do not come in here.
Not safe.
It's not safe. It's not a safe environment.
Danger zone.
Yeah. And they everybody go, "Uh-oh."
Leave her alone. She'll
Yeah.
come out eventually.
Yep,
just
she'll come
just
out
let her be.
eventually. And it's going to be like some rock music. Yep, with the screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good that you know what helps you, and what it takes for you to get control again of your emotions. But there's a lot of people that sometimes are going through you know something, and we don't even take the time to ask or to sympathize with them. Sometimes we take it as, oh my gosh, she's so rude, or he's so rude. Did you see how he answered or she answered? But we don't stop and take the time to ask, are you okay? Is everything okay? Or, you know, how are you doing today? We go into the attack.
Yeah, it's like why didn't you check on me? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly. Serious.
Yeah, when they hear the me playing certain songs where they're screaming and it's like on volume 47 and they're like, "Uh-oh."
Run.
Yeah, Areza, do not go in there.
Not today. Not
No, because
today.
I'll hear my sister, she's trying to, and I'll hear my niece say, "Do not go in there."
It's not safe.
And she said, "Huh?" And I said, "No." And she said, "No?" I said, "No." Yeah, but
No.
you have to have boundaries with, even with the ones that you live with. Everybody needs their personal time sometimes. Like, it's not a good time right now. Go away. Try what they said. Try again another time.
Yeah, try again. Leave a message and try again.
Remember when they used to say that back in the day? That was the on the phone.
Yeah,
Hang
the answer
hang up and
machine.
try again.
And try again. Yeah, or leave a message after the beep. Beep. I remember. Oh my God, it was so. I saw a payphone the other day. I was so shocked because we don't have
What?
any around. Yeah, an
Do
actual
you should have took a
payphone.
picture of that?
I did. I'm gonna
That's
send
a
it to you.
that's an antique now.
It is. I couldn't believe. I was like, "Oh my God!" I remember when we had to get
Mm.
either change, and then when those, calling cards came out, we had to be scratching the number,
Yep.
the code.
Yep. With a coin.
Yeah. Oh my God! It was so neat.
I
Ah,
hate
the,
I hated it, and then you had to call this number and activate it, and it would never activate. You had to call like 3 or 4 times. Oh.
different area codes when you wanted to go international. It was such a nightmare.
Yeah.
Now that is something that we don't have to deal with anymore. But Marlene, I was going back to the topic. I
Hmm.
was watching a documentary. I think it was last night, and oh, I'm sorry, no, this morning. It was this morning. I don't remember who the person was that was saying this, but it was an FBI guy. But he was saying that we have um, a larger, like um, a large part of our population um, that are suffering from depression and anxiety and a lot of other mental health things because we're constantly on the phone or any either a phone or a laptop or an iPad. We're constantly on the lookout with, we don't have a moment's peace. We're go, 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 getting bombarded with all kinds of different information. And we're not allowing our brains and, um, we're not allowing ourselves to relax and calm down. We're not talking anymore. We're texting. We're, we're reading other people's texts. We're, on the chats, typing. We're not verbally communicating with anyone anymore, hardly ever, right? So he's saying, there will be more, now that our kiddos are, our grandkids and our great nieces and nephews, as they get older, it's going to get worse unless something is done about it.
Yeah, and that's why even I say to like the younger people in my family, if you need a break, if you need your me time for your mental health, then you take it. You go in the room and you close the door. Take your time for your mental health. It's important to tell even younger people. Tell them, you know, everybody needs mental health breaks.
Hmm. Yeah, we do. We need to make sure that we are constantly evaluating ourselves, that we're looking at our people as well, because sometimes we get so busy that we don't really pay attention, but we should. We should be paying attention. Even if someone tells you, it's okay, I'm fine. But if you know them and you know that they are not fine, ask again, a second or third or fourth time, especially your loved ones, because sometimes it's hard for you, at least for me, it's hard sometimes to express what I'm feeling, because I don't like to bother people with with whatever it is that it's going on with me. But it is important for us to, if we have people that we love, and we know that sometimes they go through those bouts of depression or sadness or whatever, we have to make sure that we're looking, that we're asking, that we're talking to them, not on a text, that we're either make a phone call or face to face.
I think that's something that starting with the pandemic, and people still haven't got out of that yet. They're just so used to everything being like FaceTime and all those things. And while that's, if somebody lives far away, of course you can't see them in person, but people that you can see in person, it's important to check on people. I always say that check on your strong people,
Hmm.
the
It,
ones that
it
never complain about how their life. Everybody has a weak moment. Check on your strong people.
yeah. Sometimes we get so busy with life that, again, you put everything like, I deal with this later. Like, it's okay. I'll have my turn. I'll deal with it later. And it's what I was doing with, when my dad one and dad two, when they passed away, I was doing just that. I'll deal with it later, not right now. Because they were like 8 days apart from from their passing. Like, they were only 8 days apart, so I didn't want to deal with it. The problem is that months later it just hit me, and I was so depressed. I was so sad. I was constantly crying. The one thing I had not done and didn't want to do. I was like that for a while, and it's because I didn't deal with it when I was supposed to.
Yeah. And when we don't deal with things when we're supposed to, it's like the crash is even harder and heavier, because if you just had dealt with it, it would have just been a little bit of a crash. But I mean, when you hit rock bottom when you don't deal with things.
And I like a realist comment.
Yeah,
So true.
these days folk are so ignorant and condescending to what others are going through. Yeah, I always say that you don't know what other people are going through, and no two people go through things the same way. What you may be able to handle, another person can't.
Hmm. And the way you handle certain things is not the same way like others will. Like, I've heard so many people, yeah, my mom passed away, they say, but I didn't cry as much as my sister did. Oh my god, my sister was so annoying. It's like, no, everybody deals with things a different way, and they don't have to adopt the way you deal with things. They have to do it on their own terms, their own way, in their own time. It's the only way they're going to be able to get that out of their system.
I don't.
Another thing, Marlene, that I have an auntie. Well, she passed away like 3 years ago, but I started noticing um, that she was leaving the lights on all night. Um, Sometimes she will leave the stove on when we'll go out to visit. The stove will be on. I'll be asking her like, "Are you cooking or are you about to cook?" She'll be like, "Oh, no, no, I cooked earlier today, and the stove is on." And I'm like, I started seeing that she was forgetting and doing things, um, like, I don't know, like she will get up in the middle of the night and said that she wanted to make breakfast for us, or I'm gonna cook guys some dinner right now because we haven't had anything to eat. She was doing weird things like that, and I will tell my cousins, like, she's acting kind of weird. You should take her to the doctor because I think she's going through something, or dementia or something. Just take her to the doctor, see, to find out what's going on. And my uncle had passed away, her husband, 4 years prior to this. So they took her to the doctor, and then he said, yeah, it's early, it's just the early stages of, but she also has depression that she
Wow.
hasn't yeah, that she hasn't worked on. And that, with the fact that like early onset dementia, it's making her do certain things to keep her mind occupied so she doesn't think about him. And she started to become a little bit more recluse than before. And then and a couple of times she got lost on her way from the store home. She couldn't find a house, and the store is like probably a block away. This is back home, right? So my cousin took her, and the doctor told her, you know what, let's take her to talk therapy with someone like her own age, so that she can feel more comfortable. Don't take her to someone that is younger, because she might not be able to open up. And so my cousin took her, and yeah, the therapist said she's very depressed. She just doesn't know how to express it, or and eventually said, or she didn't want to make you guys sad about your dad, which is probably why she opted not to say anything. But those people that are with us, and we know we need to pay attention to. We need to make sure that they're okay, that they are doing their normal routines, that they're continue on that and not changing it without having like, we're not being weird. But if they're changing it in a weird way, we have to make sure that we are on top of that.
Exactly, Nexie, because when my dad had passed away, there's certain things that they won't tell you about. My mom wouldn't tell me because, of course, she's your mom. She doesn't want you to worry about her. You know, but her mental health, I was worried about her because she would stay up at night, and I didn't know it was hard for her to deal with. It was like, think about, you've been together with somebody over 50 years, and at nighttime now, you don't have somebody, you've been sleeping in the same bed with somebody for over
Mm-hmm.
50 years. And I didn't know that the nights were difficult for her, but she didn't tell us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I said it was time for me to move back in with my mom. But
And yeah,
yeah.
did it help?
Yeah, it helped for a little bit, but she said she'll never be the same, and of course, she passed away within 2 months.
Wow,
Mhm.
is that connection
Yep.
beautiful?
Yep. She said that's my best friend.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Imagine my auntie. He had died 4 years, prior to this, and she had been dealing with it by herself, on her own. Like my cousins, and they will come over, take her out, distract her, but they didn't talk to her about him. And that's what the therapist was saying. You guys have to allow her to talk about your dad without you guys getting sad or upset. because that's her fear, that she's gonna make you guys sad if she talks about your dad.
Yeah, you have to let people express themselves. You have to. And I still till this day have a sibling that will never talk about our parents. Never. They don't want to talk about it. So I said, that's you. You don't have to talk about it, but I'm
Hmm.
going to because that's how I deal with
Yeah,
it.
my one of my cousins, he won't talk about him either. About my auntie, most of it, because he was very close to her. So whenever we're talking about her or something that she said or the funny things she did, or the funny way she danced, he gets up and lets out. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go walk the dog or something," and I'm like, "We don't have a dog." So he's like, "Then I'm gonna go walk myself out and about." And that's the way, because he's not ready, and I keep on telling my cousins, keep an eye on him, right? Because he's not willing to talk about them. That means he's keeping all of that inside, and
Yep.
eventually he's gonna get, depressed.
Yep. He's gonna hit rock bottom. And I want to say this, I really don't talk about spirituality on this channel, but I think it's important for anybody who is a spiritual person to make sure that, if you don't have support from other people, make sure you're tapping into whatever it is that you believe in to get your support and encouragement. Sometimes when we're in that space, we forget about our faith.
Hmm.
We forget about, because we just feel so low and so down and so discouraged. But tapping into your faith, and it will encourage you.
That helps. I just have to say this, James. I haven't seen James in a long time. Sorry, I had to say it, Marlene, because I cannot type it right now.
Yeah, I understand.
It, and for, you know, a lot of times people don't, right now that you said, hold on to your faith, right? And, you know, that will guide you. And a lot of times, if you don't want to go to a therapist, you can talk to, a pastor or someone at the church or anyone that, can guide you, or can have the time to talk to you if you don't want to go to a therapist. And hopefully, by opening up, eventually you will go.
You know how I feel, Miss Nixie. I believe in uh, a I can't think of the word, but I believe in a melting pot, not just one thing.
Hmm.
It's like talking to a therapist is important, but also, for having a support system behind you, but also you personally doing what you need to do so that you can be okay. It's a group thing, it's not just one thing. We have to put in the work so that we can feel and be our best. And you have to know what works for you. For me, I know when I'm like, okay, I need to go to the beach.
Mm. For me, is I need to be alone right now. I need to be in my feelings. And even if there's chaos out there, I need to have a secluded spot where I can be alone with my thoughts. I need to process this. And a lot of times I know that there's people that like big groups. When they're going through something, they grab all of their friends, and they're talk among them, and they go on and on with whatever it's going on. But for me, I need to be alone before I can go out and talk to whoever I'm going to talk to about it. I have to be alone. I have to process it alone. I cannot be in a group setting. I cannot be with anybody else. It has to be by myself. It's the only way I can
and
process it properly.
and that's why you have to know yourself, because I'm the type of person, when I'm going through something, I don't need people to be in my face, but I need for people to reassure me that they're here for me,
Hmm.
whatever that is, acts of service.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah, I need for people to just check on me. I don't need for you to, you know, be there in my face, but even to say, "Are you okay? Can I do something for you?" Something like that. That
yeah,
goes a long way when you're going through something. Just
yeah.
knowing that somebody cares.
Hmm. And it's important too to know your people, because like my sisters know me, and you have gotten to know me too. Is that you know when I'm ready, I'll tell you. But when I'm going through something, they know, and they say you let me know when you're ready. I'll call you in a couple of days. Unless you want to talk to me before, I'm here. And and that helps when you know your people. Get to know, because right now we don't even get to know anyone.
I
you
know.
know at work, that sometimes good morning, bye, or good afternoon is as much as you get out of people. Even if you ask questions, how was your weekend? Oh, okay, that's it. There's no conversation. They're on the phone, constantly texting or checking whatever. They don't talk anymore. So, it's important that when you have people that, depend on you emotionally, and you depend on to emotionally, it's important for us to get to know them, their likes, their dislikes, their weird way they deal with things, so that we know the right thing to say. Like I said, like my sisters, is, let me know when you're ready. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here. If you
Yeah,
want us to be silent, I'm here.
I'm that person too. Like I need to be by myself for a time, and then I get mad that they gave me time. I'm a very complicated person. I'm like, "You haven't talked to me." I was like, "You said you wanted a break." I was like, "I know, but I missed you."
Okay, crazy.
Yep, that's it. That's it. But I admit that about myself. I'm okay with my crazy. okay with my crazy back. But yeah, this has been a great conversation, Miss Nexie. Thank
Sorry.
you so much.
I'm so sorry I was so late.
Oh, it's okay. It's
You
okay.
know who you're going to get. You know who you're going to talk to and say, what's going on with you? Why do you keep on making her late?
Oh, that wouldn't work, because I have one of those here too, and they would say, "Because I want to, because
Yeah,
I want to."
because it's my mom. Because it's my mom.
Yep, that's
Because
my
you didn't
mom.
go on, because I didn't go on the train. That's
Uh
gonna be his
oh.
answer.
No, no. Oh
Thank you for
no.
having me, even if it's at the last minute, and thank you everyone for coming and hanging out with us, and for all the support. It's
Yes.
greatly appreciated.
And I want to highlight realist. Yes, it's the principle. Just somebody just saying, "I'm here for you." And yeah, that is a big pet peeve of mine too.
Oh, mine too, serious. Mine too.
Mm. Yeah, they're there, but they're ignoring you. They're like, and they're scrolling on their phone. And I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take that
Marie,
phone and break it."
sometimes they're not even on the phone. They're just
Yeah,
mm,
yeah,
mm-hmm,
okay, sure,
mm,
uh-huh.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you're like, mm-hmm, what? Oh, I'm letting you talk, but I'm asking for your input. Don't
Wow.
just let me talk like a crazy person. Tell me something.
Yeah. They don't want to tell you anything, but it's what it is. I just want to say this discussion was mainly to say to everybody who is here, to all my ladies, to all the gentlemen, your mental health matters. You matter. If you're going through something and you need some assistance, please get help. Please talk to someone. Please take care of you so that you can be all right. You don't have to be liked by everybody. It doesn't have to be what other people want, but it needs to be what you need at that time. It's valid and it's important. Thank you, Miss Nexie.
Thank you, Miss Marlene. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Yes, thank you, everybody. We'll see you back next week for the sip and chat.
And I'll be on time, I hope.
We hope.
We hope, yes. Not bye, everyone.
Bye, James. Bye, realist.
Bye, James. Realist, serious. Bye, Miss
Furious.
Marlene.
Bye, Miss Nexie.